Well, today's developments come after days of uncertainty and simmering anger in Morwell. Its 14,000 residents fear for their health, and there's growing concern that the town's already fragile economic and social base has been irreparably damaged. Peter Carline reports.
It doesn't seem like anybody really cares. It's just one of those things. I don't know that people or the government even understands what's happening here.
Who knows, like, what's going to happen in 6 months, 6 years, 10 years' time to the kids? What are they going to have after this? They don't know exactly what's in it, and they're not being straight up front with everything that's going on.
The open-cut mine fire and the smoke and ash cloud that rolled in with it started almost 3 weeks ago. One rumour doing the rounds in Morwell is that it was started by kids throwing burning toilet rolls. But rumours of all sorts are rife at the moment in a town struggling to cope, where many feel they've been left in an information vacuum. And that vacuum is being filled with fear.
He's scared now because he has to wear a mask, so he gets scared of the night, because he hasn't got his mask on. What sticker would you like to do?
Mel Nielsen stays home to look after her grandchildren, including 3-year-old Charlie, who has asthma.
We don't go out very much, do we, darling? No.
Like most residents, Mel has shut up her house, but it doesn't stop the ash seeping in day after day.
The ash is just unbelievable. Every nook and cranny. Yeah, I've taped up my toilet vents and all that sort of stuff, but it still comes in under the doors or through the outside vents, through cracks in your window.
Those who can afford to have already left town.
I think that we should be classed as a state of emergency. This fire and the gases that it's expiring, I don't think we'll know the full brunt of it until the kids are older.
Across town, Emma Ramsey's also stuck at home. Her 2-year-old twins are sick.
They're not telling us anything, and if you do not have any access to internet, you don't know anything.
So you don't have any access here?
I have my mobile, but I only have so much internet and then it runs out, and then you know nothing.
Well, there is, of course, a concern by the local population that we're almost the forgotten people.
Lawyer Stephen Plunkett knows all about airborne particles. He's worked on asbestos-related cases in the Latrobe Valley for 30 years for power station workers and their families. While admitting there are still many unknowns about what is in the air, he has very clear advice about what residents should be doing for their future well-being.
I think people should firstly document their exposure and take photographs and put it aside, because as we have found with asbestos litigation, for example, by the time they find out that it has caused a problem, it's often many years down the track, and it's very difficult for people to remember with any certainty or particularity exactly the dates and the type of exposure, and that becomes, of course, very important later on.
When the smoke blows in on Morwell, it turns into a ghost town. Local businesses are desperate.
Our customer base has just disappeared, basically. Last Friday we'd made $70. Normally we turn over between $300 and $1,000 in one day on a Friday. $70 didn't even cover the cost to open the doors.
For Jenny Mainwaring, sweeping her shop clear of ash has become an almost hourly part of the job. She and her staff say they feel ill from the smoke in the air.
I believe this is an OH&S issue. WorkSafe Australia could come knocking on my door saying, is it safe for my staff to be here? If the government is saying go home and close your doors and windows, why am I making my staff work?
These are the P2 masks. Yep.
She's not the only one. Pharmacist John Bellaby may be doing a roaring trade in asthma medication, but he's also noticed a drop in customer numbers.
If the smoke rolls in, it certainly quietens off. So it has had an impact on our business. And not just us, other business owners I've talked to as well. So there's a definite impact on it.
Business operators around town have all seen the economic warning signs.
having a significant effect on trade, and the businesses I've spoken to are reporting a 30% drop in trade, and they're the people selling food, so I imagine some of the others are doing it really tough.
Morwell's lifeblood, brown coal.
The 1950s and 60s were Morwell's golden age. As the power stations expanded, so did the township. But when the State Electricity Commission was privatised in the 1990s, job losses weren't far behind, and Morwell fell on hard times. Now there are fears it will suffer again. Howard Williams is active in the union movement and in close contact with local small business. He fears many businesses which have closed their doors because of the smoke will never open them again.
We don't like to talk our town down too much, but we're suffering the impacts of a lot of change in the industry, and so it's been a pretty tough environment for local small business anyway, and this is a most unwanted additional stress for them.
That stress is being felt across the entire town, and as the smoke continues to seep into homes, cars and businesses, the minds of many are now turning to long-term compensation as well as health implications. Back at Mel Nielsen's home in the direct path of the smoke, the grandmother fears for the future of her family.
Just do something, just help us so that we can live our lives. I have no idea what's going to happen, but it does scare the hell out of me, Peter. It really does scare me.